93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video. Tony Bellew is criticizing Conor McGregor's punches. He's basically saying it was rubbish, horrible, blah blah blah. And because Kugan Cassius or whatever his name is from IFL TV asked him about was he surprised that Conor McGregor performed well in the first 3 rounds, 3 rounds rather. And he says no, there was no technique on the punches, it was rubbish. And to a certain extent, I do agree with that. He doesn't have the... I wouldn't say rubbish because I feel like that's disrespectful considering that this guy's already beat. But, truth be told, he's kind of rubbish. Like, his punch was kind of rubbish, but then again, he's not a boxer. He did have some good awkwardness to him, but when it comes to the actual punch, there's no real technique to it. I agree with that. And, for that reason, I feel like Conor McGregor doesn't really have that type of power that people thought he did. It's kind of overrated punching power. Seriously. Now, I want to talk about something. Even though I agree with Tony Bellew, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's true. And I've been saying this in my my prediction and my thoughts of the fight and thoughts of Conor McGregor before going into the McGregor-Mayweather fight. But as he's down, I think it's disrespectful to say that about him, considering that he's not even a legit boxer. And secondly, Tony Bellew is criticizing his punches like as if his punches ain't shit, but what about Tony Bellew himself? Now, I know Tony Bellew has better technique, but by how much? Like, give for the amount of professional fights that he had. David Haye, right, was injured on 6th round. And Tony Bellew, look, when you're on one leg or when your one leg is alright and the other leg is messed up, you don't have balance, you don't have the power because you can't sit down on these shots, so you don't have the power to keep your opponents off you. So your opponent can come hard at you without worrying as much. And you don't have the ability to take shots as much as you could have without going down. I mean, because you have a bad leg, right? Now, David Haye had a bad leg from 6th round, and yet Tony Bellew could not stop him until round 11. So what does that tell you about Tony Bellew's punching power? And keep in mind, I'm not a Conor McGregor fanboy. I actually wanted Floyd Mayweather to win. I like Conor McGregor, but I wanted Floyd Mayweather to win because, that's a different topic why I wanted him to win. And I predicted Conor McGregor to get stopped by Floyd Mayweather. I feel like his power was overrated and Floyd Mayweather's power was underrated. And you look at the fight, it's pretty much what I said it would be. Predicted a 9-round stoppage. So I'm not a fanboy of Conor McGregor. But Tony Bellew is kind of like, yeah, you're talking all this shit, but look at you. Like, if your technique was, like, if your punch was amazing, because you're a boxer, all you do is punch. He's a UFC fighter, he has other skills, right? If your punch was all that amazing, you would have got rid of David Haye within a couple rounds after he fucked up his leg. How does this guy go? How are you criticizing someone else's ability to punch and his technique on the punch? Meanwhile, you're struggling to get a crippled guy out of there for 5 rounds. How long is 5 rounds? That's like 15 minutes. So you're struggling to get rid of this crippled... You're struggling to drop this guy and keep him down there. This crippled guy for 15 minutes and you're criticizing someone else's punching power. I kind of get pissed off when Tony Bellew is criticizing someone else. Like, who's he really beat? And he knows that he got lucky when he beat David Haye. Like, it's really bullshit. That win was bullshit. You really got lucky. And to be honest, David Haye was actually hurting him with that one leg, which I'm stunned by. And all that shit, and you get all this credit in the world. You're sitting there, you and Carl Froch. Carl Froch did his thing in the boxing world, but you're sitting there right next to him like as if you're this accomplished boxer from the UK. Because, there's American commentators for Showtime or whatnot, but there's also the UK commentators for Sky, and it was Carl Froch, it was some other guy, and it was Tony Bellew. And it's crazy as if like Tony Bellew is this accomplished boxer from the UK that is there. Who's he really beat? A crippled man that he struggled to get rid of him within, like, took him all the way to 11 round. Keep in mind, like, David Haye apparently was injured before going into the fight. And even if you don't believe that, he was definitely injured on the 6th round. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. It took you more than 5 rounds. Because keep in mind, right, you're going to say, oh, he got stopped in 11. It didn't take him the whole 11 round. But also, like, you know, a bit of the 6th round was actually in half of the 6th round. I don't know how, maybe a good amount of the 6th round probably was spent where David Haye was actually injured. He was injured in the middle of the 6th round, probably around. Either way, 5-6 rounds it took Tony Bellew to get rid of David Haye. And he's talking about someone else's punching technique being shit. Tony Bellew is like a buffer. He's like a... You know what it is, right? I feel like Anthony Joshua would fight Deontay Wilder if it's put in front of him, right? And I think he's not scared of anyone. He's a guy who's looking for challenges, and I feel like Deontay Wilder, to a certain extent, might be looking for Joshua. I mean, I do question that at times because of his resume. Like, he got 38 fights and no one significant. But then again, you know, it was trying to do was get the Povetkin fight and all that thing, and he was trying to get, and you know, apparently he might fight Luis Ortiz, but let's see. He was trying to get Joshua as well. I've heard all this, but listen, I feel like Deontay Wilder may or may not be ducking, but I feel like Eddie Hearn is trying to use Tony Bellew, even though Joshua might not be ducking David Haye. Eddie Hearn is trying to use Tony Bellew as a buffer, as like a barrier for Deontay Wilder to get a fight with Anthony Joshua. They made Tony Bellew, I mean, thanks to the David Haye fluke win, right? It was a very bad fluke win. Thanks to that, Tony Bellew is now able to be this name in British boxing. This, not just British boxing, kind of known globally for beating David Haye. And now they were talking about Tony Bellew versus Deontay Wilder, which is ridiculous. That's not going to happen. It's just an obstacle in front of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder for the fight to not happen. And then if that doesn't work, they got Dillian Whyte as a buffer. As Derek Chisora says, it's a spare tire. So that's really all I think of Tony Bellew. I don't think much of him. I feel like he's getting too much credit for doing absolutely nothing, and then he's sitting there criticizing someone else. Like, come on, man. Be real. He ain't shit, man. Tony Bellew, look, he's got a heart, and I thought he performed pretty well against David Haye. Like, for himself, he did okay. He did good. He moved. He was sharp. He boxed well. But, I mean, how much credit can you give for beating a crippled guy? And this crippled guy was hurting him. And this crippled guy was able to last all the way up to 11 rounds. You know, 5 to 6 rounds after he was significantly injured. Like, please, can someone explain me, like, how much... Like, why... Can someone explain me why Tony Bellew is getting all this credit in the world? Eddie Hearn built this name that is there. I mean, it's bullshit, man. I don't want to talk about this no more. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. Definitely don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 93 Boxing. I'm out. 93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video.